Oh, it's a Beantown Sports Wolfcast. Oh, the VSW podcast proudly presents feature presentation featuring the hub of all four Boston sports teams, the Beantown Sports Wolfcast.
Welcome, everybody, to a brand new edition of Wildcard Special of the Beantown Sports Wolfcast. All right, everybody, so it is a big time. Today, I decided to have this special because, as you know, unless you're living under a rock like Patrick Starr, you know that the New England Patriots have not only qualified for the NFL postseason, the wild card round, they are traveling to frigid Bills Mafia, the Buffalo Bills, this Saturday, 8:15 on CBS and Paramount Plus. If you have that and aren't comfortable watching from the regular cable, there are options. And I would like to introduce my guest, as always, and the man behind the graphics of this kick-ass intro, the head of the VSW podcast, like I'm the head of the Wolfcast, the Versace Stoner.
Welcome everybody to the Beantown Sports Wolfcast. Always a pleasure to be on this show. Tonight we're talking about something that, to be honestly, I didn't know we would be having this episode at the beginning of this season. Didn't think actually we would be talking this far in the season about New England, honestly. But I'm glad that we are. I'm glad that we're here. You know, we're facing Buffalo Bills. You know, a few things I can say about Buffalo Bills. I mean, I don't know why they would name a team after the serial killer Silence of the Lambs. That's
Ooh.
beyond me. I don't understand. I mean, if it puts the lotion on the skin or else it gets the hose. The other thing is, you know, we know some people from Buffalo. And there's something about Buffalo people that they like to do. And
Eat
that's
buffalo
ducking.
wings and break tables.
Well, not just that. They also like to duck and dodge.
Ooh, yeah. And it's evident because I tried to find a Bills fan to come on the cast, but they were too afraid. They're all talk Versace.
That's what happens. And, you know, it's going to be, to me, this is going to be a great game.
I think it is. Some people believe in the Pats like I do. Some people just think they're happy with the playoff berth and they're going to not show up. But with Bill Belichick in the playoffs and cold weather, I'm going to talk about the weather pretty soon. You can't count this Patriots team out. Yeah, I know they struggled in the last three of the last four games in the month of December. I know we're not used to it, and some people are happy with the playoffs. Some expect Buffalo to ramp up against the Pats and run up the score. But in reality, it's going to be a real close game, closer than what people think.
Sure will. And, you know, and here's the thing about football. A couple bad games, you know, a couple weeks ago doesn't mean anything game day. You know what it means on game day? That game. That's all it means. One and done, these
Exactly,
things.
especially
This
this year. The
this
Bills
isn't like, you know, the other sports, you know, the other major sports that you cover. You know, there is no series. There's no best of seven, best of five. There's none of that. These are all one and
It's
done
do or
games. If
die,
you
win or go home.
exactly. So you know what matters is how people play that day. They can play shit every other game and, you know, barely make it, but they can come in and just, you know, with momentum, crowd, adrenaline, they could
Especially
go
this
in and,
year,
you know,
unpredictable.
blow the competition away every playoff game.
There is years past that wild card teams have made it all the way to the final. Like the Green Bay Packers won a and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the past 10 to 15 years has won a Super Bowl as wild cards, I may add. You had the
Yeah.
Buccaneers last year. I know people forget. They won the Super Bowl playing all their playoff games on the road. Yeah, they have TB12, but the Saints won their division last year, not the Bucks.
See, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, you know, this is going to be. I mean, I don't know. I think we're gonna be surprised on how well New England plays. I know I kind of been a
I
Debbie. I've been a Debbie Downer all season long with the New England Patriots. A lot of it is just joking around because I was cocky in the past, and I would, put New England on top. But
I was
seeing them
too.
in this light is kind of funny for me. But at the end of the day, I think they are gonna shock and awe a little bit in this playoff, season.
I've been reading a lot of experts, whether it's here around Nesson or all the way national, whether it's ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports. A lot of like 6 out of every 10, 8 out of 10 of them have the Bills, not 10 out of 10. A lot of them don't. A lot of people around here think it's going to be a blowout that are Debbie Downers, like you said. But there are a lot of people that think Buffalo's going to win 10 to 13 points against the Patriots. Some people do. The most people at the Patriots winning by is 5. The money line on this game, obviously, Buffalo's favorite to win, but the money line is +4 for the Patriots, -4 for the Bills. So
And I mean, I think a lot of the line has to do with where the game is being played.
and you're gonna laugh. Not only guess how much tickets are going for resale prices right now in Buffalo.
How much?
Some sites as low as $27. Some sites as low as $50 for a freaking playoff game.
That's crazy. That's cheaper than going to That's cheaper than going to Proving Ground this Saturday.
Ah ha ha! I don't think the owner's gonna like that response for such.
But it is kind of cheaper
It
to be
is
honest. I mean, yes, okay, you're not getting VIP seats, but for $50 you're going there. It's also cheaper at some. You can go and see a better show than the Wrestlers Laboratory down there in Buffalo. If you're gonna travel that far. But anyways, let's not talk about all that. Um, why are the tickets so low? Are the Buffalo fans just not into football? What's the deal?
Oh, of course they're in the football, but I don't. But they're not used to January postseason ball like the Patriots were. Like I went to games when they played Peyton Manning and the Broncos. November was I couldn't even touch my phone. It was that cold, but I made it through. You have to layer up, and the Bills fans aren't used to
Yeah, but
playing
I
cold.
mean, Buffalo gets colder than we do. I mean,
I
aren't they
know
built?
that's what I
Aren't
mean.
they built for this?
Maybe not for football wise, staying outside for so long, but it's going to be frigid. It could be like negative 8 degree wind chill, and it will be as high as 2 degrees. I saw with some snow. They say the wind might not be as heavy as their first Monday night meeting, but it's going to play a big factor. That's why I'm very confident. If this were a neutral site, like you're playing a Mad game or a Super Bowl, or if they had a dome in their stadium or retractable roof, like some of these teams in cold weather
Yeah,
climates have, like Detroit and Minnesota, I'd pick Buffalo to win by 2 touchdowns. But Belichick's team is built for cold weather. Yeah, they're very young and inexperienced, but
Belichick built for cold weather. I mean,
exactly with the
he's
hoodie, they
always trained
compare him
people
to
for cold weather.
Palpatine and Vader.
I mean, that's one thing New England's been noted for. We've been always good in cold weather. Brady was excellent in cold weather.
I remember
You,
the Tuck Rule game against the Oakland now lost before they were in Vegas, the Raiders. When I remember going to my dad's friend's house, people bundled. We were tougher back then, 20 years ago. I was really young. I was like 8 or 9 or 10, maybe. I don't. The Wolf don't remember, but I remember there was so much snow, and we had to like we didn't even shovel. We just had to walk through snow to get there. And everyone didn't expect the Patriots to win except for me and my dad. There were a lot of Debbie Downers that night.
what game was that?
The Snow Bowl, it was the last ever game in defunct Foxborough Stadium or Schaefer Stadium, whatever the
Oh
hell you.
yeah, 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 I remember that game. I mean, don't forget the game years ago that we won. We beat Peyton Manning,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
we
Plenty of
took a
time.
pounding in that first half,
Yeah, that was the game.
and we came back to beat
I was
Denver.
at that game. We were down 21-0 when he was on the Denver Broncos regular season game. Had a couple touchdowns to the late Demarius Thomas, who died a month ago. Rest in peace. He was the Patriots. I was like I told you, I couldn't even feel my phone at the game. We didn't even drink beer because it was so cold. We just stocked up on souvenir hot chocolates, and ate clam chowder and tailgate. It was that cold.
No, and I mean that's it. This is how it is, you know. New England fans are built for that weather.
Like Green Bay fans are, and you Buffalo with all the talk, they shouldn't. The ticket resale prices shouldn't be that low. Maybe
It's
I
funny
heard
though.
it's
I don't think
outdated.
it's funny though. I don't think wrestling fans are built like that.
No, hell no. They couldn't even last NetLife Stadium in the spring. Like I went to WrestleMania.
And I heard that. Yeah, I know. I heard it was kind of cold at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was. Like I was prepared for it, but
But
and
I mean, there was people that were even bitching in the rain in Florida, saying it was kind of cold.
yeah, exactly. I'm sure Tampa Bay fans do that too.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so what really is gonna give the Bills the edge over the Patriots? Yeah, you can say that Mac Jones is a rookie and people don't have faith in him. I'm very proud of how he played this year. Yeah, he struggled a bit in December. But the fact that not only do they have Josh Allen, who's a really good quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, they finally found their franchise QB since the Jim Kelly days, but he is a huge mobile quarterback. Like he is one of the best mobile and pocket passers combined in the current NFL today, which is really he's really hard to cover, and he really shredded the Patriots. The second meeting we played them is that the Patriots are banged up. If you look at their injury report, the closest thing the Bills had to the injury was their star wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, but he's cleared to play. And Cole Beasley was out with COVID back in their second matchup. He's cleared to play. So it's going to be very tough. What really sets the Pats real better, and it's going to be a very typical old school conservative game where whoever there's going to probably be a lot of running first two plays and only throw when the teams need to. So I don't expect an all air aerial assault like you see from the Aaron Rodgerses, the Patrick Mahomes, and I just think whoever can run out the clock faster is going to win this game. I think it's going to depend on the running game and who can
So it's gonna
stop
be
the.
a game. It's gonna be a game of smarts, to say Wolf. It's gonna be a game of wits.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. That's what I'm trying to say.
you know,
I don't
and
expect a low score game, but I don't expect like a 45-42 game. It could happen either way. You never know.
we
I
never know
expect.
what can happen on a given day. I mean, like I could say, if this was Brady behind the helm of the New England Pats, I'd tell you what the score would probably most likely be.
Yeah.
Um, it'd be a lot different scenario here.
And he murders the Bills when he was
And
on
we
the.
would have been first of all playing at home. Second of all, we've murdered the Bills. The Bills have been a running joke in New England for years.
Oh, I know that. Like I said, the tides have turned. Whether even before whether Tom Brady was leaving, the Bills finally made a playoff berth 5 years ago, and the crowd.
I think the Lions became the new Bills.
Yeah, the Lions are still. They looked like they were going to escape this shittiness that we known like the Cleveland Browns were known for since they re-emerged from the when their original team got moved to what's now the Baltimore Ravens. The Browns and Lions and the Bills were the laughing stock the past 15 years.
Yep.
And the Bills fans are very passionate. Like you see, I know we're wrestling guys, and we see the what they call themselves Bills Mafia. They'll travel to great games and bring chairs. They'll bring tables. They're known for tables. They're known for having a few beers, cooking some hot dogs on the grill, and slamming with their best friends, jumping on a table, challenging their inner Dudley boys, in my opinion.
This could be something fun, something the VSW might want to get involved in.
Absolutely, but what Buffalo's really known for is obviously the name itself, Buffalo Wings. The Lord's written all over it. I'm a big fan of spicy food, and I do love Buffalo Wings. I always try to have them when the Pats are playing the Bills.
And don't forget your favorite promoter, uh, Peter Schwartz, was born and raised in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, that creep.
He's your favorite person in wrestling next to your other favorite person and wrestler who's also from Buffalo, Puff.
Oh my God, the crybabiness all day long, Versace.
They're kind of the same, those two, if you think about the ideology.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't. Yeah, because they both want desperate for attention way too much, can't deliver. You know how it is.
Oh, I certainly do, But, like I said, Buffalo Bills, will they deliver? Or will the New England Patriots, shock the world? Will they pull that Rocky kind of 1-2 scenario?
Yeah, I
And
really wouldn't surprise if it's either way. But I think if they lose, it's going to be a close. This could be an overtime game. It could be a thrill like the Chargers Raiders were on last Sunday night, with Pittsburgh fans had to stay up late to find out if they were going to the playoffs. They got that scenario they wanted with the Colts losing to Jacksonville and Big Ben Roethlisberger announcing retirement last month after the season concludes. And the fact that they were 2 seconds away from tying from an overtime, that unlikely scenario, ties happen once every like 4 years, like the Olympics in the NFL. It's kind of like the Olympics, the pace of tie games.
it is, and I think, like I said, playoff football is always exciting. It's always an exciting time.
Absolutely. It is exciting. People are in the brackets, and it's regular season. The reason why the ratings are so high is because a lot of people, whether it's season one fantasy football, whether they log on the FanDuel DraftKings app and make daily fantasy bets, or they just bet on the game like they're going to Vegas. Like it's a very popular money betting game, you know?
It is, and I think it's gonna be a hell of a it's gonna be a hell of a matchup. Like I said, I'm very excited for this. There's only been a few games for the Patriots that I've actually been excited for this year. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But this is definitely one of those games I'm just looking forward to. I think win, lose, or draw. I think it's gonna be a good game. Now let me ask you this, Wolf, because you probably know. What's on the other side of the rainbow here now? If the Patriots beat Buffalo, who are we going on to face the winner of? Who's playing on the other side?
So in that case, the Pats have the fifth, sixth seed if they win, and Kansas City's most likely going to beat Pittsburgh. They destroyed Pittsburgh a few weeks ago in what was a national doubleheader window on CBS, and Patrick Mahomes really shred them. And let's see if Ben Roethlisberger has enough in the tank. Because Kansas City's the number two seed, the Titans are the number one seed with a first round bye. And that's very scary because, as we had my friends here from Tennessee a month ago after the Pats game, they didn't have star running back Derrick Henry. Like they're gonna get him after first round bye. He's cleared from the injured reserve. He's been practicing. So the Pats would go to Tennessee most likely. Most likely. I assume Kansas City's gonna take care of business. If not, they play the winner of the Cincinnati Bengals Las Vegas Raiders matchup.
Okay.
So three different teams they could be playing. But most likely they'll be going to Tennessee. At least I won't be short of people wanting to come on the Wolfcast if that were the case.
No, we should be good there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited for this matchup, a classic cold weather playoff game. They think it could be another snowfall. We never know until the weather hits until the day of.
No,
But
especially nowadays, it's very unpredictable, the weather. Even the weather people get it wrong.
maybe people, instead of drinking Bud Lights, they'll be stocking up on milk and bread to watch the game with.
They might. Who knows what's gonna happen? Like I said, it's streaming on Paramount Plus. I know I have that for sure.
Everyone has CBS, so
And
or
everybody, most everybody, yeah. Actually, I think you can even get like the app for free. So yeah, everybody has.
yeah. If you have the Yahoo Fantasy app, you automatically get the games on your area.
Yep, that too. So I mean, there's so many ways to watch football now. Where before, like you had to have a cable system.
Yeah, with the classic Direct TV Sunday ticket, that was a pain in the ass.
Sure was.
Absolutely. I don't think you need Sunday ticket with the invention of red zone, as I just like to watch my team. Like with all the, you can find out how your fantasy players are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Exactly. Um,
so trying to look some stuff, trying to access the injury report right now.
while you're
Some
doing that, let me like pick your brain a little bit on this. Who you think's gonna be some of the like key players to look out for?
for who, the Patriots or the Bills?
Either team. You know who's gonna they're always gonna get a player of the game. You know who we looking at here?
Obviously, the key difference is you have to take a look. I know I'll say the whole running game for the Patriots. I've talked about this many times. But the key player who really has to step up, especially Barrymore's not playing for the Patriots, a different maker is going to be Kyle Van Noy on the defense. He came back from Miami after last year. He was a former Patriots. He's a sack player. Yeah, Matt Judon will pass rush because they might the O line for the Bills have done a very good job compared to how the Pats haven't protect Mac Jones all year. They have done a very, very fantastic job protecting Josh Allen to make these huge runs out of the 2nd and 20, converting for first downs. They've been doing a phenomenal job protecting Josh Allen. Of course, Matt Judon, a fantastic addition from the Baltimore Ravens, has had 12.5 sacks this year. Kyle Duggar might be hurt, the safety for the Patriots, who's been phenomenal this year. But our defense has really struggled in the pass rush, was their heart and soul all year. And 2 years ago, they called themselves the boogeyman. I think hopefully Hightower is able to play. Barrymore may not. We need to be able to count on Kyle Van Noy because they're going to have a plan to block Judon from getting to Josh Allen or the game of either Devin Singletary or Zach Moss for the Buffalo Bills. We got to have Kyle Van Noy come in and make the plays to force Josh Allen to throw picks and not catch because their cornerbacks for the Patriots, J.C. Jackson's been amazing last year, this year, kind of leading the league in the interceptions, kind of like what Ed Reed and Darrell Revis used to do back in the day for the NFL, which has been awesome. I'm confident because the weather's going to be bad. We just have to really pass rush the run game, and we have to force it so Josh Allen can't run out of the pocket, which he's been phenomenal at all year long. Kyle Van Noy will be this one difference maker for the Patriots.
So it really is, a series of chess moves that will determine if the the Patriots are successful in this, you know, to get into the, past this first round here. And I'm not saying it's impossible. There's a lot of, like you just said, there are a lot of little things that need to kind of happen to get the big picture to show up.
Because don't forget, last time they faced each other in Buffalo, the first meeting, Monday Night Football, they won 14-10. Don't forget, Mac Jones only had to pass 3 times because the Pats' run game was outstanding. It's so obvious if I said someone like Damian Harris, who is questionable. I think he's going to play. I hope so. I just really want them to shuffle between Stevenson and Harris. And you obviously use Brandon Bolden. We still have a huge loss from clutch third down back. James White was hurt and out for the season. He is clutch in playoff games. If you remember from the 28-3 Super Bowl comeback against the Atlanta Falcons, James White had a huge third down plays, and he got the game winning overtime touchdown reception to win the Super Bowl for the Patriots. So we're going to be missing a lot more James White than people think.
You know, and like I said, earlier, I think I said about New England. There's one thing that New England has always done. Well, at least in the past have always done, and that's played really good under pressure. I mean, mostly that
Oh,
was because of
big
Brady,
time.
but also, I think, New England fans are used to just being under pressure.
Oh, I think so in general because ever since we've Tom Brady started this success, we've had World Series wins from the Red Sox. We've had a Stanley Cup and an NBA title, only one each, surprisingly. But like everyone's so jealous of Bostonian people because some people, like the Cleveland Browns fans, acted like they won the Super Bowl. They won a playoff game last year, so they haven't had that in decades.
Yeah, but they got their own show. They got the Cleveland Brown show, don't they?
Me. Okay, Versace Stoner talking about the Patriots and Bills today, not Cleveland Jr. Yeah.
But hey, the Cleveland Brown show is better than the Tough Daddy show.
Oh my god, anything is. At least Cleveland Brown and the Bear understand business.
That they do. They really, really do. Even old Giggity understands what business is, I feel like.
Quite.
But
I, oh yeah. Peter Griffin's a big Patriots fan. He actually played for the Patriots. He tried.
then
They all got Bill Belichick to smile, and the only way Bill Belichick will smile this Saturday if he is victorious over the Buffalo Bills, and he is gonna strategize like a motherfucker. But his son
he
Steve Belichick has really struggled calling defensive calls this year.
he
He
might.
makes weird facial expressions like,
To
"Yeah,
be
they."
honest with you, though, he still might not actually smile. It's very hard for him to smile.
Oh, absolutely. It's still very hard. And the crowd in Quahog, Rhode Island got it to happen when they made a deal with God. And who knows if someone's doing that right now? You never know. And we are in the land of Bay sometimes, Versace.
Oh yes, we are. Um, that's very true.
I'm very, like I said, I'm very enthusiastic. I'm going to try to be as confident. I'm not going to be cocky. I'm not going to rub it and say, oh, the Patriots are going to win. I'm not
No,
100%.
this is like I said. This isn't like years past where I could go, yeah, the Bills.
Going to the ESPN Sports Nation poll where people like can vote on every game, whether it's NBA, NHL, MLB, and the NFL before it happens, or the college sports. 61% of fans think Buffalo win, 38 in the Patriots. That's very close to, I feel like, the 80-20 ratio that the experts are predicting, no matter if it's local experts or national experts, whether it's newspapers, websites, or sports media.
Well, I
Like
mean,
the Pats always do well when the experts are shitting all over them and doubting them.
to be honest with you, the Patriots are never down and out. We know that. We know that for a fact. The Patriots can never be counted down and out.
Oh, absolutely. I finally got after some glitches. I'm looking at the injury report now for the New England Patriots. So we got Jacoby Myers questionable with a thigh for Saturday night's game. You got Kyle Duggar, like I was talking about a few minutes ago, questionable. You got linebacker Jamie Collins questionable. Another great re-addition, just like Kyle Van Noy, who's been awesome. Like I said, this is a big one. Damian Harris is questionable, which he's been. That people don't realize how he's the most underrated running back in all the fucking NFL right now. He's second to Jonathan Taylor in rushing touchdowns, tied with James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals with 15 apiece. Like people, like
Really?
yeah, Belichick's known for shifting running backs all these past years. You never know which has been getting the bulk of the carry. Now, since Tom Brady left, they believe in this ground and pound, which is an advantage for cold and snowy weather games.
Well, honestly, it is a different kind of situation. You don't have like I said, Isaiah, but you don't have the throwing power you once did. So you do have to kind of build that running game up.
But don't
And
forget, Mac Jones went to college in the University of Alabama. Not exactly a cold weather season per se. So he is getting used to it, but a lot of people think that will be a difference maker. With his struggles, a lot of them expect him to struggle, but I'm
I mean that
confident.
it could happen. We've seen many quarterbacks come from warm weather and not be able to perform properly.
It's like if you added 5 more minutes in the Patriots Dolphins game, I think they would have won. The thing is with this Patriots team is they start off very, very slow, especially in the month of December. Just take away that Jacksonville all elite beating shellacking. Take that away. They started slow in Indy. They were starting to come back. They started slow against Tampa Bay. They started slow. The only games they didn't come back from was that New Orleans game, which I was there, which Alvin Kamara really shredded the defense.
I mean, could you being there had a factor in that?
They've been winning in the past, but who the hell knows? They were bad at home this year, no matter if I was there or not. Versace. They lost their first 4 home games,
True, true, very true.
especially they were four.
Like I said, to be honest with you, earlier on, I said it. I'm surprised we're even talking about this. I didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs.
They're a very, very young team. They have more of their veterans on defense, but offensively, they're a very young team.
Well, they are now. They tried to go with with a veteran quarterback. That didn't work out too well.
Nah, Carolina re-picked them up. They didn't get the old Superman Carolina Cam Newton that they used to have back in the few years ago. A lot.
No,
He was never the.
it's always a shame when you see wrestle. I was gonna say wrestlers. I'm gonna say sports players age and then try to come back to their glory days. You see the same thing with wrestlers, and that's why I talk that.
But
Like
Tom Brady's making everyone look bad. The man eats avocado ice cream on his freaking
well,
diet.
yeah, I mean, and people like that did, and Peyton Manning did the same thing. At the last year of his games, he's putting up numbers, he's winning titles. The dude was a superstar.
Yeah.
And
So
Brady is following in that same footsteps and doing the same thing. And
and another tackles leader for the Patriots, I want to give a shout out to Jerron Bentley.
well, I
Second
mean, to be
year,
honest, don't you think that's kind of like how CM Punk feels right now, making people look silly? Guys, how old on TV, doing better than what the young kids can do?
Oh yeah,
It's the
big
same.
time. His
It's the
mic
same
skills are unbelievable.
situation. And not every veteran needs to retire early. Some of them can still hang. Some of them can still look good, but it gets to a point in every athlete's career, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, wrestling, that it doesn't look good anymore when you're doing it. You don't look good. You look too old, and you got to call it.
And a lot
It's
of
a hard
people.
day. It's a hard day to realize, but it
Here's
does
the
happen.
real reason why a lot of people are doubting the New England Patriots. Yeah, Mac Jones is a rookie and had his struggles, but because we don't have a real go-to deep threat receivers like the Bills have with Stephon Diggs, the Packers have with Devontae Adams, the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill, and obviously the Cincinnati Bengals with rookie record-breaking sensation Jamar Chase, with breaking Randy Moss rookie records now and Terrell Owens. So you got a lot of people coming into the Sunday night. I know I explained it last Wolfcast for such, but so the Pats either were going to play Buffalo or Cincinnati. If it's a Cincinnati that never shows up in the playoffs and takes stupid penalties, then obviously that easier matchup. But with what I seen from Cincinnati this year, with sophomore player Joe Burrow finally lighting it up with Jamar Chase, and you got Joe Mixon turning into a star fantasy running back, that Cincinnati's offense was unbelievable because the Patriots. Not saying Buffalo's isn't, it is true, but they have more star power on offense than Buffalo did. Buffalo just has the way better defense. And I feel like this is third time's a charm. Both these teams know each other very well, and Buffalo really wants to dethrone the New England Patriots and they want the 10 plus years of success that the
Well,
Patriots have for way more than
doesn't everybody?
that.
Well, don't they all want that? You know, don't they all
They
want
hate
that
us because
winning
they ain't us,
dynasty?
right?
Don't you want that? Doesn't everybody want that championship winning dynasty?
Absolutely. You hear the Cowboys fans and the 49ers fans, that's all they talk about is the teams of old.
And
We could
and
even be
honestly,
like
I
that
mean, Miami is kind of the same.
with the Don Shula days. They were the first regular team to actually go undefeated. I don't even like to talk about this. David frickin' Tyree and his bubble gum. He has frickin' bubble gum on his helmet during that Giants Patriots first Super Bowl. I know he does for such.
It
Since we're
probably,
talking glory
you,
days.
but
But like another guy who's really emerged for the Patriots, who could be an X factor, is obviously Jacoby Myers has been catching every bad throw he's thrown at, whether it was Cam Newton last year. He led the Patriots with 83 receptions for 126 targets from the Alabama rookie Mac Jones. You've had 49er Kendrick Bourne getting used to it. He started off really slow, but he's been their slot deep go to guy. But the Patriots have to figure out to utilize both Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry has led the Patriots with 9 touchdowns out of all Patriots players' receptions this year. He's Mac Jones's favorite red zone target. And Buffalo, it could be a red zone depending game, Like that might
it
make a
could.
huge factor. Like Dawson Knox is Josh Allen's. He had a touchdown against the Patriots last time. But what's really scares Patriots fans, we remember a few Wolfcasts ago when I talked about the COVID reserve and how Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders for the Buffalo Bills were out with COVID related issues is fourth, fifth fifth depth chart. I don't know if he was step above practice squad. Isaiah McKenzie, he had 22 receptions of the year. 11 of them came against the Patriots in that one game because Josh Allen and the short pass shredded the secondary. They didn't even punt last time they played the Patriots. And it scares a lot, gives a lot of anxiety to fellow Bostonians I talk to.
Well, yes, and I think a lot of fellow Bostonians are going to be anxious come this football game. I think a lot of us are going to be sitting on the edge of our seat.
That's what I
I
expect. That
mean,
I'm gonna have 2
honestly,
beers in my stomach.
if it's gonna be a blowout, it's gonna happen in the first half of the game, and you're gonna
Oh,
know that, and you're gonna know that there's no return by the halftime. If it's gonna be a
hopefully
close
that's
game, it's gonna be a close game, and it's gonna go
hopefully
right
worst
through.
case scenario. They're only down by a touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised if they were down the first half because they start off slow most of the year.
Well, look, down by a touchdown is a close game, and down by a touchdown is down by 2 points in basketball. It's down by 1 point in soccer. It's down by one
One game
point in
hockey,
baseball.
3 runs in baseball.
You know, that's all you have to do is just get a touchdown. So it's gonna be though, like I said, like one way or the other, and we're gonna know fairly soon how it is, which way
Like
it rolls.
I want to go to a little bit of the money line. I said the spread was Buffalo -4. Do you want to guess the over and under on this one? How many points that experts are predicting or Vegas is predicting for such? Want to
Yeah,
take
I mean,
44 points scored by
for,
both. Do you expect it to be higher or lower?
wait a minute, hold on. 44 points Buffalo winning by?
No, 44 points. How many points will be scored by both teams
Oh,
combined?
that's the total. That's the total.
So it could be 24-20 either way,
Well,
27.
I mean,
I think that's a fair over under. I think it's going to be a little under because of the weather.
well, under, see, it depends. If New England can really use their running game, the weather will be less of a factor. You don't gotta catch a cold ball with the cold hands when you play the running game. it is hard to hold on to the ball. But I mean, it will depend. 44 points. We've seen New England score 44 points alone in the past.
Oh, the good old days.
But I mean, this is a different Patriots. These are different times, and yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty a safe assumption.
I
And
think the Buffalo -4 is a pretty safe assumption by both teams because a lot of experts aren't predicting they're predicting the Pats to lose. I feel like there's a lot of Demi Downers in Massachusetts that are predicting the Pats to get blown out, but a lot of them are predicting Buffalo to win by 10, 13, 7. And if people are picking the Pats, they're picking them to win no more than 5 or 6 points. Because that's my prediction. I think they're gonna win by under 6 points. I don't think they're gonna either team's gonna blow each other out. But
no, and like I said, I mean, it won't be that. I mean, it's like I said, we'll know in the first half if there's a blowout. And the blowouts will happen, I think, if we do start to see some COVID related, injuries and people being pulled out and they can't get their offensive and defensive lines figured out, then we will start to see a blowout one way or the other if this happens to either team.
that's why I said my X factor is gonna be Kyle Van Noy because the Pats do have J.C. Jackson, who's a shutdown corner. But don't forget, the reason why I'm so confident, even though he's been really good, and had 3 touchdowns, scored all the Pats touchdowns their last meeting in the 33-22 loss to the Bills, is I say a shitload of times. I apologize if people are upset that I repeat myself. That's part of the Wolf's diagnosis. He repeats himself too much. Too bad, actually. But a lot of you will understand. But Damian Harris has been the most underrated running back in the game right now. And he scored at least 100 yards each time he played the Bills. He made the big difference in their Monday night game when he shredded them for the first touchdown scored in the second quarter right before halftime. And he had 3 touchdowns. People tend to forget it. And it's the most by a Patriots player in Buffalo history. So
Let me ask you something. If Dave Meltzer was covering football, what do you think you would rate this game?
oh my God, I don't trust Dave Meltzer. He would be too harsh. He'd be upset if guys can't throw it all over the place. He wouldn't take weather into consideration,
Or
And
do you
people,
think he would just kind of like maybe favorite like Tony Khan's team?
oh yeah, Tony Khan's team's real good. Hey, they knocked Indy out of the playoffs, so maybe they aren't that bad. They do have the number 1 pick again for the NFL draft.
Well, I mean that doesn't say much getting the number one pick, but
But don't forget what really scares people is the, obviously the Bills fans were so disappointed when the Pats beat them, and we were so happy thinking we were going to run through a. Because the Pats did start the year slow with a 3-4 record, losing a lot of close games, and then they won their next 6 in a row before having that bye week and then losing to Indy. Buffalo was on and off this year in the middle of the season. They went down to Tampa Bay and played the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And who else destroys the Bills than the man we all know and love here in Massachusetts, TB12. She's 33-3 all time against the Bills.
whew,
He was up by 2 touchdowns. Bills tied it up. They went to overtime. I watched it. And Tom Brady threw a touchdown to Chris Godwin, I believe. It was Godwin or Evans, one of them, for a overtime winning victory. And the Bills have been on an elite roll since, winning their last 4 games. They beat the Jets, they beat the Panthers, they beat us, the Patriots. Pretty good. I think that loss to Tom Brady really motivates Sean McDermott in that team. But what helped the Patriots was bad penalties from the Bills. But we've the Pats have need to play a very Bill Belichick disciplined cold weather game. If we have these stupid encroachment or taunting penalties, Buffalo's going to have the advantage, and Josh Allen's going to make us pay. You can't give Josh Allen a lot of yardage or free plays for roughing the passer. They got to try not to rough the passer, and it's going to be a tough game because if you give Josh Allen a lot of open field, don't you think he can't run for it? He sure as hell can.
Oh, I know. I know. And I think with the weather and the coldness, the inexperience of the cold with, the QB, and I mean Buffalo's used to the cold, but New England, this New England team, I don't know if it is as much as the previous is.
Well, you got Kyle Van Noy and you got you got Kyle Van Noy and Donta Hightower who played in these situations many of times for
Well,
the
yeah, but there's a whole
defensive
bunch.
side for the.
Well, yeah, but I think with that, I think the running game is going to be used a lot. With that being said, I think that is why you're seeing a lower kind of score among everybody, 44 points. Because with the running game, I feel like it's a slower moving scoring game. You don't get these long bomb Hail Marys and quick, touchdowns. It can take a whole. You could waste, 7, 8 minutes playing the running game to get the touchdown. The other thing is also, like I said, with the cold weather, it is a little bit easier handing the ball running it than trying to rely on the throw. The ball gets very hard, very fast,
Because a lot of
especially.
people think that Damian Harris won't have it or Stevenson won't have a fantastic game against the Bills. They think Sean McDermott and the defense will be ready for the Patriots. I think it's going to come down to Mac Jones has to overcome his struggles against the number one ranked passing defense, the Buffalo Bills in the NFL.
Well, definitely, Mac Jones needs to kind of just put his previous issues aside and realize, yo, this is game day. Has he been in this situation before? Has he been in playoff games before?
Well, the national title's pretty damn good for college in Alabama,
Yeah,
but he
that's
only
not
had it when
bad, but I mean,
the
okay,
Tua.
that's like okay, hey, you know, I was NCW champion for 5 years. And now I gotta face
Yeah.
Seth Rollins at WrestleMania for the world title. Like,
I wouldn't
it's a
know if
big
I
jump.
would go with that, but the real tough guy is Micah Hyde for the Buffalo Bills. Been forcing a lot of turnovers from their cornerbacks to cover this great safety. You got Tremaine Edwards building the pass rush with
You do,
70
but I'm saying,
tackles.
like, with somebody
He's
without that experience in these, I mean, look at the that year you had. They were looking great. The young quarterback there, I forget where was he from? Seattle.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think it was the first year. Was it them
Yeah,
and
I
Kurt?
was there. My uncle lived in Seattle, and boy, that place was loud in Quest Field of the Hawks. I
I
felt
don't
like I was
know,
gonna fall off.
but the outcome wasn't the best
No,
because the inexperience was there. And that's gonna play. Will he be able to withstand the fans, the cheering, all that noise, all that limelight? Yeah, granted, this isn't a Super Bowl, okay? This is just a playoff game, you know. But there is pressure. There's a lot of pressure in a playoff game because there is only one and done. So I mean, will that play a factor? How is he under pressure? How is he mentally under pressure?
because
We knew
I
how we
think the
knew how
Bills
Brady
will feel
was.
the pressure. But the thing is, what people are overlooking is that the Buffalo Bills beat the Colts and the Ravens in the first. Then they made it to the AFC title game and lost in the losing effort to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
So I mean, well,
So
I
I
think
think there might be more pressure on the Bills because a lot of people are expecting the Patriots to just lose because you tend to be right there because Josh Allen has to have a great game for the Bills to win. And Edmonds leads the Bills with 108 tackles, and hopefully the Pats offensive line, Isaiah Wynn's questionable. He's making a huge effort. They have the offensive line for the Patriots have to play the best pass protection they've played all year. Sometimes they were really good for Mac Jones. Other times they let him get shellacked, like in the Dallas defense or the New Orleans defense. Indy destroyed Mac Jones pretty good.
So I mean, it's
But
gonna
like
be an interesting run here.
you also got Bills have Stephon Diggs. They also got veteran Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sand, and don't forget Gabriel Davis when someone gets injured for the Bills. He steps up. If Isaiah McKenzie could shred the Pats, any of those guys can.
Yes. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, it's gonna be in some aspects, yeah, okay, it's kind of predictable, I guess, but in others, honestly, it's anybody's ball game here.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot closer than anyone thinks.
I
I
believe
don't think
so.
the Patriots are going to win single handedly. I don't think Buffalo is. But I said if this were a neutral site game, I think Buffalo win by at least 10 points because you saw the day after Christmas was very mild. And that was the last time these two played for their second meetings. The Pats couldn't stop Josh Allen to save their lives.
But I mean, people learn. If people learn, watch tape, and can
Yeah,
adapt.
discipline and not take these stupid penalties. Barrymore may be injured, but he had that stupid encroachment penalty when the Bills had was like 3rd and 20 and got him a first down in the first half, which led Buffalo to score a touchdown before the first half, and that was a difference maker. So very disciplined football, and Mac Jones has to get out of his shell because the Bills are gonna kind of limit the running game. I don't think you'll see Damian Harris have 170 yards and 5 touchdowns. That ain't gonna happen. Hopefully, Bill Belichick can rotate between Stevenson, maybe even get Taylor in there. Don't healthy scratch any of the running backs. But please,
No,
for
no.
God, deactivate Nikhil Harry, the biggest bust in well, everyone hates him in New England like they do Bill Buckner.
He's like the Brad Cashew of Maine.
Maybe if you have the law, but the thing is that the Kill Harry, he's been very bad. They deactivated him against Jacksonville and had Wilkerson out of the practice squad, and he scored 2 touchdowns. And we could add Debo Samuel, who's a great runner and lead receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. We could add DK Metcalf, who last year had a great season with the Seattle Seahawks. They could have been red, white, and blue with the New England Patriots right now. So the Belichick doesn't bust a lot when it comes to selecting his players for his formula, but he really did in the receiver position a few years ago in the draft.
No, I get it. I get it.
But before I go, I'll talk a little bit, not too much about the rest of the wild card weekend game in case the Pats will be on Saturday, 8:15. But before that's the other AFC game on NBC. You got the high flying Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, and two teams that people didn't expect to make it this far, especially with the Raiders with the John Gruden controversial emails, and you had Henry Ruggs get that DUI and some other Raider players getting DUIs. It's making a huge
Were they hanging
impact.
out with? Were they hanging out with Jeff Hardy?
Ha 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 ha. And you got Tom Brady and the defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicking off the Sunday slate, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, who was a surprise team who was of the NFC East. Then the the 4:30 game, which is a Nickelodeon game too, on CBS, Paramount, and Nickelodeon. So there'll be slime on the players. You get the Dallas Cowboys facing the San Francisco 49ers, the best two teams in a long time during Madden's tenure as number one announcer, whether he was on CBS or Fox covering the NFC. That might be a tribute to John Madden
Could
with that
be.
first slot. And the night slot, you got that game that will decide where the Pats play if they do make it out of frigid Old Orchard Park of Buffalo. There's big Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers, what could be his final game ever, taking on the reigning defending back-to-back AFC champions, won the Super Bowl a few years ago. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, and the high-flying Kansas City Chiefs. And you have the first ever Monday Night Football playoff game, which will be an ESPN2 Mancast. ABC, ESPN, you got the battle of two Western teams between the Los Angeles Rams with the huge trade for Matthew Stafford. They signed controversial receiver Odell Beckham Jr., taking on the young flying guns of the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray, uh, DeAndre Hopkins still out, but you had the surprising season of James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals. So a lot of great games this weekend.
Yeah, this is going to be a really great game weekend for football. And as you know, for wrestling too, we got a bunch of shows
Chaotic.
Friday night, Saturday night,
So if
every
you're listening, if you discovered from the link I posted on one of the Boston group, take a ride down to Watertown. You never get a good indie wrestling in the Boston area. You got Chaotic under a brand new ownership of JT Dunn. He actually made an appearance on AEW defending CM Punk from being attacked when it was in Boston. Go check that out. A lot of high flying talent at the Kill Kowalski School of the New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Check these guys out at Chaotic tomorrow. Buy a ticket. Go. If you don't drive, no problem. Take the T in. Great.
take the T, take the bus from Harvard Square. There's many ways to get to Watertown, and it's going to be a good show. Saturday night, you got Proving Grounds Rumble. You also got Top Rope running tomorrow night in Brockton. If you're on the South Shore
Uh,
and don't want to go to the North,
yeah,
you can go there. There's going to be so much action, and
on Friday
and
night.
then all between that with the great football, it's going to be one hell of a weekend, Wolf.
Absolutely. Hopefully, it's a great weekend coming into Sunday. My final prediction: I think the Patriots are going to win. I've been thinking long and hard about this. I think it will be a 20-17 victory over the Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to cover the money line and they're going to win by 3. It could come down to a Nick Folk game-winning field goal in frigid temperatures. As I do
That's a
think
really
Buffalo
good
have
prediction.
on them than the Patriots to win.
I also do think the Patriots are going to win. I think it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a close game. I don't know, 21-24 maybe.
Ooh, Pat's a Buffalo.
New England.
Ooh, very similar, my friend, to how I'm feeling. Very
I think it
good.
is going to be really relying on that running game. And the weather is going to play a factor for both teams. And it's
So
going to
I
be
think
honestly who endures the cold. And also don't forget,
who can burn more clock, basically.
who can burn more clock and who can, avoid getting meaningless and mindless penalties that
Absolutely.
will that can ruin your
Like
game one way or
the
the other.
first matchup, the teams who lost in their matchups respectively had a bunch of stupid penalties.
That's what I'm saying. Penalties play a bigger role in these games than people think. A few bad penalties in the game, you've thrown it away. You've thrown it away. So you got to play smart. You got to play. Really, you just got to play smart, in my opinion. That's what it comes down to. Get over cocky, and that's the other thing. I want to say to either team, especially this more so to even Buffalo. Don't underestimate your opponents. You might think they can breeze through New England. That ain't gonna happen. New England thinks they're gonna have an easy time with Buffalo. That ain't gonna happen. Once you start to underestimate your opponent, you really, you increase your chance of failure by 50% at least. Always stay ready, always stay humble, and always stay just aggressive, and you'll, do fine.
Absolutely, folks. Before it is time to go, I am very excited. Great super wild card weekend behind us. Will the Pats pull an upset and go to the divisional round? Will they break the tables of Bills Mafia? order some wings, hang out with your friends, dilly, grab a few Bud Lights. I sure will. The Wolf will be having some Bud Lights. I usually do when the game is on. So any final words for Sach before we sign off?
No, nothing much. We'll see everybody out there at Chaotic Wrestling. And we'll be back on the air Monday night to recap all the action. And we'll do a double header recap.
Double
Talking.
header recap. All right.
Yes, that's right. First, we will talk Chaotic Wrestling. Right after that, we will hop right into the Wolfcast talking about this very football matchup. So, everybody stay tuned Monday when we talk, recaps.
On to Cincinnati, on to stormy Old Orchard Park, Buffalo, and the Wolf is